Welcome back, and some advertising news in brief now. Looking at the big winners at this year's Luri Awards, which were held in Durban. With more than 2,500 entries received across 14 different categories, a total of 700 brands were represented from 15 countries right across Africa and the Middle East. 6 Grand Prix were awarded, among them campaigns that we've reported on in the past, like the King James Agency's exemplary work done for client Sanlam and their 2-minute shower song. It was an initiative to help curb South Africa's water crisis. The campaign taking top honours in the Digital Integrated Campaign category.
2-minute shower remix.
I told everybody, Cape Town started the rap. You need to double check first that you turned off the tap. Yeah.
Let's just do it and we see how fast we do it.
I think it's quite a scary reality that we are facing at the moment.
How do you live without it? There is no living without it.
M&C Saatchi Abel's Write My Name campaign for client Nando's won a Grand Prix in the tactical use of newspaper category.
It's not fair. Even when I say Lelo, I get the red line.
It's a person name, and the computer always get the English name.
The line underneath, like, actually, what? Well, that's my name.
Who decided that it should be incorrect?
Why is yours more special than mine?
You're not seen as like it's not a real name.
It's annoying. It's not uncommon names.
We should also be part of the dictionary.
And Ogilvy Johannesburg scored big in the branded video category with its campaign for diaper brand Huggies and the world's first ever baby marathon. And a campaign called Lucky Face by the Impact BBDO Dubai agency winning Best Integrated Campaign.
State lottery sales haven't seen an increase, and scratch ticket sales are actually down.
Sales were down by 47%, so Lotto needed a way to connect with a new generation of players. Introducing Lucky Face, the world's first lottery that turns your face into a ticket. With millennials taking over 1 million selfies a day, we turned each one into an opportunity to win millions. Powered by the latest facial recognition technology and social media APIs, the generator creates unique lotto numbers by analyzing players' facial features, turning their unique face ID into a 6-digit lotto combination, compatible with our existing draw. The AI can recognize if it has seen a face before, and in one snap it enters the same numbers, making playing fun and easy as taking a selfie, posting it on Instagram or our microsite, and dreaming of living the good life. We opened the search for Lebanon's luckiest face up to the nation, finding thousands of new players ready to back their face as the luckiest in all the land.
جديد اللوتو Lucky Face.
هاشتاج Lucky Face لوتو على luckyface.me.
فرصة الربح، فهل يساوي وجهك الملايين؟ اكتشف ذلك مع اللوتو.
And reinventing one of the oldest games for a new generation of players.
All right, let's stay now with great creative work and Luma Animation Studios taking up a challenge of conceptualizing and rolling out a campaign for South Africa's largest mutual assurance society, AVBOB, as it celebrates its centenary in 2018. Through the skillful use of computer-generated imagery, the narrative revolves around the message that AVBOB will continue to be there for South Africans in their time of need. Paul Meyer is with us, Executive Creative Director and owner of Luma. Paul, a very warm welcome to you. So what was the brief? What was the original task that you were set?
We were briefed by et al., AVBOB's agency, on the event, the centenary event, and that they had chosen to portray AVBOB as a family tree. It also grew out of the poetry project, which happened last year and which they've gotten great acclaim for. And a poem was written, a kind of autobiographical narration of the tree talking about how it grew from a seed to provide shelter for many creatures.
So visually then, what have you created? And as I'm talking to you, we're running the ad behind you in the screen, and it really is a thing of beauty, of colour and real resonance.
It was a pleasure to do this because the story is very simple and it's so true. AVBOB is like a family tree that provides shelter to all these different creatures. And a tree creates a living ecosystem around itself.
But it's not just a tree. It's a baobab tree. What's the significance of using that?
Correct. So a baobab is endemic. It's deciduous, so you can show the changing of seasons. It's iconic. You know, for instance, a baobab looks like a picture a kid would draw of a tree. You know, it's truly iconic. And I think the fact that it's endemic is the most important thing.
Why would you have gone specifically for computer-generated imagery? What does that do as opposed to taking a camera out somewhere and, you know, shooting the real thing?
Yeah. You won't believe how many times I've been asked this question. And the thing is, just do the logistics. If you had to shoot this, you know, besides the animals having to act on cue, you would have to find that baobab in that location and shoot it through the seasons. The ad would take too long to make, would cost too much, too many things out of your control, like the weather, and it's hard to get animals to act.
Yeah. No, fair enough, but you don't think it strips something of the authenticity away? Do people really think and see that it is computer-generated, or have we reached a point in the craft where it's become so real that we don't actually notice?
That's a good question. What do you think?
I'm doing the interview here, OK? I think there's a degree of authenticity, and I think what I'm trying to get out of you is that the skill set and the technology has reached a point where sometimes there's a coalescing. We don't actually really see the difference anymore. Yeah. Or do we? I don't know.
I would hope so.
I mean, I'm looking at the chameleon behind you. I'm looking at the little squirrel. They look pretty darn authentic to me.
That's awesome.
You sure they're not real?
Yeah. I mean, I think if we did our job properly, then you're not thinking about how it was made. You are just being swept away by the story and being inspired.
Could you talk to me a little bit about how difficult it is in terms of time, in terms of the skills that you need to put something like this together? My understanding is that, you know, they're long storyboards. It takes an inordinate amount of time to get every single precise frame right. Am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an epic task. And, you know, we asked for 6 months and we were given 6 months to deliver this in. You know, it was a team of between 5 and 15 people working on this job for that time. Just to create the bird, we created the bird twice because the first time we made the bird, we were like, that's awesome, but it doesn't look real enough. You know, the feathers don't move in the right way. We learned from what we did and we had to redo it again. And that flower opening on its own, the baobab flower, which has an amazing story, took 3 months to produce, you know.
Paul Meyer, what do you think this does for the brand, given that essentially, if you strip it down to its bare necessities here, it's a burial society, it's a funeral brand. What are you trying to do with the brand to take it in a different direction?
Well, firstly, let me just say, like, I'm so inspired by AVBOB that I became a policyholder, okay? That says something about what my experience with them. But I think for us, it was to inspire everyone and anyone and to move people. And because AVBOB, at the heart, is such a wholesome, beneficial company to the public, I think that is what has to be done in an ad campaign, to make it as accessible to as many people as possible.
So accessible is important, but at what point do you start measuring the success of a campaign? I wonder if this is simply a brand-building idea, or is this a call to people like yourself to actually go out and buy policies? Difficult always to measure the efficacy of advertising, isn't it?
If I had to give you purely my take on it, and I'm not speaking for the brand or for the agency, to me it feels like this past 100 years is worth celebrating for AVBOB, and that they must almost come out into the open and, you know, stand up and be counted so that more people can benefit from their amazing products.
Just a quick one in conclusion. The work itself is startling and it's very realistic. What does this say then about animation skills in South Africa and whether this has become, and I sense it might be, an exportable commodity?
Absolutely. More than half our work comes from international clients. You know, that's foreign direct investment creating jobs over here. The talent in South Africa is second to none. I mean, the talent is absolutely here. The skills are here. We use the same tech and tools as the guys overseas. And, you know, we just need more of it.
Paul, I hope you don't have to use that AVBOB policy too soon. Eh?
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. Executive Creative Director and owner of Luma Animation Studios. Thanks very much for the insight. Mags on Media, coming up in just a moment, how a local beer brand hopes to foster social cohesion through a campaign which is said to smash the labels.